Hello, and thanks for tuning in. In this review, I'm going to be taking a look at a remake of one of the most inventive and beloved horror franchises in cinema history. And now, Evil Dead. Like the original, the film is about a group of friends who go to a cabin for a getaway. This time, however, they're there to stage an intervention. They inevitably come across the Necronomicon and unleash the evil in the forest. I have to give this movie credit. It sticks with an overly serious tone throughout, and it works pretty good. There are a few instances of forced melodrama, and I could have done without that. There were a lot of plot points that were really dumb, especially in the third act. I am not a fan of the end of this movie. The actors all do a pretty good job in their roles, but most of the characters were pretty generic and one-dimensional. The most interesting character was the dog. Why was his name Grandpa? Was he old when they got him? I also liked the growing tension between the characters. That was one of the few elements of the writing I was fond of. The cinematography was pretty good throughout the movie. The camera did shake a little bit, but there were some nice nods to the original. Both the opening scene and the finale were pretty stupid. This was by far the weakest ending in the entire franchise. It almost turns into an art film towards the end, and that ain't Evil Dead. The production design on both the cabin and the book both look pretty good. The book also gets a super cool reveal. The movie is hands down the most gory entry in the entire franchise. If you have a weak stomach, you should avoid this one. About 99% of the effects were practical, though there was a hint of CG. Fun fact, in 2003, when the idea first came about to remake the film, both Ashton Kutcher and Marlon Wayans were a consideration to play the Ash character. As you can imagine, Bruce Campbell was extremely hesitant of this, and in fact was not too big on the remake in general until learning that it would be an entirely new group of kids and not the Ash character he had made famous. This movie suffers from a lot of problems that I feel bog down modern horror. There's a generally washed out look to the entire film, leaving almost no color. There's the aforementioned melodrama, and also, why does every remake have smoke in the woods during the daylight? I've been in the woods. A lot. There's never smoke there unless there's a forest fire. In closing, Evil Dead is a decent horror film, but it's not a very good remake. I honestly feel they should have titled this movie anything other than Evil Dead. It would have got hesitant fans of the original interested, as well as getting people who could never stand the originals to see it. It might seem like I was a bit harsh on this movie and that I don't like it, but that's not the case. There are a good number of elements that I do find enjoyable. However, when compared to the originals, there's no comparison. If you're into extreme gore, it's worth a watch.